Hello, Sanmanan Dumelang. Hello, Molweni. Kamalam Gulwazi. And obviously, I'm still going on and on about Married at First Sight in Zanzi Season 2. I now wanted to talk about the experts, what they do, what they're concerned about, what they think makes for a long-term, forever Tina, as well as some of the things that they said. Once again, Peter to Choir, I made note of the things they were saying that I thought were important. So I'm gonna start off reading Doctor. She's not Doctor. Kanyisile Pearl Yende. She said that she is a conflict resolution specialist. I like that. I feel like the people are gonna need that. This is what she said. My responsibility is to make sure couples have experienced as little conflict as possible, and if any arises, that they are able to get through it. I think that this is such an important person for them to have on their team. Obviously, it's impossible for any relationship to be completely without conflict because you're two different people, two different backgrounds, two different households, even if you share a lot of core values. Part of them having as little conflict as possible, I would think, is having shared values. All the big things that people get divorced over, such as money, religion, and maybe intimacy. I don't know, but I think that if they can get these things to align, probably with the help, with them helping them to resolve said conflicts that do arise in a healthy and timeless manner, I think that the couples would be, they'd be doing well. So, next person on this team of experts putting our couples together is Pastor X. Pastor X said to make marriage work, it needs two people who are happy. I always say that. I'm not looking for people who are just here for TV. If you look at the previous season, I think I just watched a video about another member separating and another couple that has quietly split. But anyway, if you if you look at the previous season, the three couples that made it, they had the intent. Bebes Misel Uguti will make it work. This is something I think is true. Obviously, if you're here for TV and for fame, forget about it for the relationship. Which I must say, I noticed in the weddings, there were a lot of famous people in these wedding parties, and I think that the more famous people, the more popular people we get on the show, the less successful the marriages will be. Because the need to keep up appearances is higher, the desire for fame is higher, which means the authenticity is compromised. That's what I think about that. But I definitely agree with his sentiments that people who are happy are people who have happy marriages because they're not looking for happiness in the other person. They are looking to share their own happiness. The more we come into marriage or relationships looking to serve and looking to give someone who is also looking to serve and to give, the better off we will be, I think. And his last statements that Bebes Misel Uguti will make it work, the desire to work things through, the drive to figure it out when problems arise, may be the difference between someone who's looking for problems just so that they can run away compared to someone who's looking for problems so that they can be resolved, so that we can work through them, so that we can build a rapport with each other of trusting that you're not going to run away when it's rough. Instead, you're going to stick around, you're going to try to figure it out. I think that makes a big difference. The next expert is Linda Yende. She is a relationship coach. She said, people have come to... Oh, sorry. He said, people have come to realize that, you know what I've been doing thus far has actually not been working. There's going to be a lot of adjusting to be done, compromise that needs to be learned. I actually also have realized that what I'm doing is not working. And I considered the show. I really did. And then I thought about the amount of attention seekingness that can happen through the show and how that compromises the authenticity. Hey. I think the other thing that I was worried about is that I have such specific desires that they may not be able to match me with someone, which we see play out here. When you have too specific of a partner that you're looking for, you end up not having people that they can match you with, because they can only do as much as they've got to give. They have what they have. They don't have what they don't have. Okay. He said that there's a lot of adjusting that will need to happen and compromise. And I think that this is true even if they found you the exact person you said you desire. All the things you've listed: good communicator, someone who is generous, someone who is understanding, someone who is fun or funny. You could even describe yourself, and you've lived with yourself your entire life and still need to compromise and adjust. Why? Because number one, we're not as great as we think we are. Number two, if there are two people with two minds, chances are you're not always going to agree. And if you always agree, once again, it's going to be a problem. You're going to be bored. Maybe you're going to think that they're not being true. Or if you believe they're being true, you aren't getting the best you can out of the relationship because you don't have someone sharing different perspectives. So it's you consulting with yourself. You know how we make up stories in our heads and we can already think we see everything, and you genuinely need to speak to someone who thinks differently to show you another perspective. So you can be like, you need that. So the next expert, Thabang Mashego, trauma relief therapist. Thabang Mashego said, what makes a marriage work is going back to your background and your childhood. Some of you think you know love, but you don't. You know survival. Ooh. She said that part of what she does is sort of like fixing your spine. What she does in trauma relief is help you to walk again. Very interesting. I think it would obviously be beautiful to have her help everyone, number one, heal from their trauma as much as healing is possible. And also to recognize when they're operating from a place of hurt and trauma instead of when they're being objective / open-minded and reasonable, which are things that are hard to tell or see when you're triggered, you know? So I love that. And I also would have loved each of these experts to actually have spent time with the contestants a week before their marriage, just a week of therapy. We get to go to couples marriage counseling, premarital counseling. They can't do that, obviously, otherwise they would find out who they've been matched with. But I think they definitely could have filmed, if it must be filmed, but they definitely could have walked with these people for a week to prepare them, to help them heal, to give them the tools they're going to need, and give them the best chance that they can have, especially since they already know who they've matched everyone with, and they already know some of the conflict that they might face. Anyway, the last specialist is Dr. Mpumezenda, OBGYN, sexologist. This is what she said. I don't believe in bad sex. I think when you don't know how to work with the tools that are at your disposal, sometimes that can be a problem and may need professional help, like a sexologist. It takes a whole lot more than just sexual intimacy to make a relationship work. 1,000% agree with the things that she said. A relationship is much more complicated than just that one aspect. I know that we are in a society that's quite sexualized, and we have made it so important that our lives revolve around it. It's in everything. And if we are not careful, we may lose out on beautiful, beautiful things just because of an overemphasis in one thing, number one. And I think number two, we are aware, or maybe we aren't, but there is so much more to all of this than just bits and pieces that need to be stimulated. I think that there are souls involved, there are minds involved, there is a desire to be seen and to see someone else and at a level that no one else can. That's what is intimacy, and that's where it starts before it gets to the bodies that we've been given. So yeah, I also don't believe there's such a thing as bad sex. I just believe that it's an accumulation of things that can all be worked on and improved, such as communication, being attentive, etc., etc. Anyway, so I have taken bits and pieces of the episode and what was said about each couple, because I want to discuss why the experts paired the people the way they paired them up, and what we can anticipate happening.
I really liked Bongani in terms of he's serious. He sounds like somebody who's serious about wanting to get married.
True. The whole look thing. She's very firm. She's like, I want a ready-made. And I had a problem with that.
Bongani runs. He runs marathons. He is an active person. So despite the fact that she's looking for someone who is already fit and six-pack and whatnot.
But I mean, Linda, as
he's
well.
active.
Can we go back to the basics?
And just growing
you
up.
You can't marry image.
Tall, dark, and handsome. Is it a deal breaker? I doubt it is. It's a preference.
I really think he's a looker. And maybe for someone like Portia, who is, for me, maybe in her previous marriage, used to being a trophy, would want a man that she can appear with. But here's a man that is grounded.
That wants to build with
family values, exactly. Something that she's never had. Let's pair her with Bongani.
This is the guy that character-wise she wants,
Yep.
Yeah,
but maybe
in terms
dressed
of
in
the
a... So are we saying Bongani and Portia?
I say
are we
Bongani
locking?
and Portia.
Here's the thing, right? I actually think that Bongani and Portia are a good match. On paper, they are what the other person is looking for. Ne? Ingxaki is the experts in their deliberations start gaslighting us. Why are they gaslighting us? They start saying, Portia saying looks are important. I doubt it's a deal breaker. The one thing this lady has said again and again is that I will not show up. I will run away if you give me someone I'm not attracted to. So why would you think it's not a deal breaker? Why would you think it's just a preference? Like, she'll get over it. That's not what she said. And if you guys so deeply believe that her deal breaker is not valid, I think that you should have had a conversation during that session after listening to the things she has said. You could have asked more questions. You could have maybe created the platform for her to question why she thinks what she thinks and to challenge her beliefs, challenge her overemphasis on looks. So now for you guys to be deliberating on your own, saying things like, I doubt it's that serious. I feel gaslit. And then they start playing clips of Bongani running to justify the fact that, no, it doesn't matter that he doesn't look the way she said she wants her husband to look because he runs. And he's not a finished product. Guys, do you know that you can run, ne? You can run, be a runner and still be overweight. That's a very... It can happen. Just because you're a runner doesn't mean that you're going to have a six-pack. There are so many factors to what makes what we look like, what we eat, our activity levels, our DNA, and our body's affinity to storing fat, our stress levels. There's so many things. This man he might have been running for the past 5 years. Why are you gaslighting us? I understand what they're saying. The looks aren't the be-all, end-all. And I still support this decision to pair them together. I just think that they should have prepared Portia more. Obviously, they wouldn't have been able to tell her, look, Mr. Tall, Dark and Handsome, asnaye, you're going to get what you're going to get. But they could have helped her prepare by showing her that it's not that deep. This whole tall, dark, deep, handsome, what. Anyway, on to our next. I'm not even going to talk about the potential disaster that could come from going against what a person says they want, because I think that that's obvious. She's probably not going to be attracted to him. She doesn't have the tools on how to build that attraction. And we saw from what she said about what she's looking for in a relationship and why her previous relationship ended. She said her previous relationship ended because the attraction died. Within 1 year of marriage, the attraction had dwindled and that marriage ended. And yet you guys don't think it's that important that she's not going to be attracted to this person. I think we are being gaslit, but it's okay. So here is the next couple and why they pair them together.
Guys,
Nelisa would actually be a really good balance for Themba.
For Themba.
And
Okay.
let's not forget that he's also been through relationships that broke him.
and he understands what it's like
Yeah.
to be with a partner who doesn't appreciate you.
They also don't mind having another child. Nelisa has got one
Nelisa's
child,
got
19-year-old.
Themba's got two.
Themba's got
And
two
she
kids.
doesn't mind.
Nelisa and Themba?
Nelisa and Themba.
Thank you.
When they discussed Nelisa and Themba being a pair, I already said when I was going through Themba's relationship profile, what he desires, what he's coming from, I said he didn't give us much to work with. He didn't really tell us who he is, or what he's looking for. The information that we did get was that he's not over his ex and he thinks that everyone is the problem in his past relationships and he has nothing to own up to. I don't know where they're getting this idea that he's been broken by past relationships. If anything, I think that he is the reason his past relationships didn't work. Obviously, it takes two to tango at all times. But I don't think Themba is emotionally available. So those relationships are just doomed from the get-go. And he's still in love with his ex. Fine. Let's say he is over her. Where are they getting the conclusions they've come up they didn't share it with us. They didn't share it with us. And it seems that Nelisa would definitely balance him out in terms of energy levels. She's a bit more bubbly, she's a bit more lively, he's very relaxed, very laid back. So I do see what they're saying in terms of that balance. And in terms of kids, she wouldn't mind. She wants more, he wants more. I guess we do the best we can with what we have, is what is happening here. Yeah.
I see Makoto and Nkululeko. My concern was Nkululeko is very steeped in his belief about the type of lady in terms of the belief system.
Okay.
Whilst Makoto does come from a Christian family, she actually said one of her coping
More
mechanisms is prayer.
Yeah.
The type of charismatic Christian that it sounds like Nkululeko is looking for.
She's not it.
I don't know. I don't know what you guys feel about
I
it.
doubt Nkululeko is looking for that specific, charismatic.
Sure.
Otherwise, he would have found a wife in his church.
He's gonna need to make some compromises. I'm glad, though, that one of the things he kept on saying was, I have failed in trying to find what I'm looking for myself. This will be one of those true success stories when we look back and we say, you know what?
Absolutely.
They found healing, they found purpose in each other.
Absolutely.
All right, so Nkululeko and Makoto locking in?
That's it. Locked in.
All right, up top.
Yo, guys, I feel like the experts are being dismissive of what Nkululeko said. After calling himself Chris Brown and talking about his past relationship, this man spent the rest of the time talking about his relationship with God and the kind of marriage he wants, the kind of woman he wants. He wants, godly, someone who's on the same path that he's on. He's been abstinent with wada. They're like, I doubt that he's actually looking for someone who takes their faith as seriously as he does. When he spends so much time talking about it, it's like, what do you mean you doubt? But I will say that I understand what they're saying. I'm triggered. I'm triggered because I think it's true. They are saying if it was that important to him, he would have found this person in the church. The churches are full of these women, godly women, who believe what he believes. If not, okay, I'm wrong for saying the church is full of them, but they're there. If not in your church, then maybe in another church, but these people are there. And the fact that it's not working with them either means he needs to adjust his expectations or he needs to settle. I know we hate to hear the word settle, but you have to give and take. You have to give and take. Okay. You just have to pick someone and just go with it at some point, as long as the things you're looking for are there and you guys click. That's what I'm gonna say. You have to kind of settle. It's no different to when guys used to say, "Oh, women are delusional. Women want a bad boy, but he must be bad to everyone else and good to them." It doesn't exist. A sanctified thug doesn't exist. In the same way, sanctified baddie, let that dream go. Let it go. And that's why I was kind of hurt by what he said, because the show, chances of you finding a person who has as strong of a stance on everything as you do are very slim. You have to go where those kinds of people go. I hate that I'm saying these things because I'm hearing myself. I'm hearing myself as I speak. But anyway, Makoto, I understand why this is a good partnership for her. She said she's tired of men using her and she wants someone who's going to love her the way she wants to be loved. Nkululeko is abstinent. He can't use her. And he desires to build a real connection and a real, put in a real foundation before adding in things like physical intimacy. So actually, for her, this is a great partnership. The problem is that they're not equally yoked, and someone having extremely strong views with someone having a more relaxed approach to things is not gonna work out. In fact, I wouldn't even say Makoto has a relaxed approach to things. She does not. She's very opinionated and she knows who she is and who she is not. You're not going to be able to make her into something she's not. And no one should be forced into being a believer in any case. That's not how that works. So, yeah, once again, where was the preparation? Where was the questioning of these stances beforehand, before you just throw them in there? I think that more could have been done. But next couple.
Definitely Tshepo. For Palesa, I think they both could potentially be equally yoked. Palesa's also worked on herself, and Tshepo's done a lot of self-investment. And they're lovers of life, you know.
Yes, they like exploring, traveling. From their video interviews, there was this element of, is he dismissive? Does he shut down immediately? When we met him, he is a warm, gentle guy, and he's solid, he's grounded.
He is.
He's got a sense of wanting to give love.
I think this is the one pair that, you know, just sits well with me. That I don't have any
reservations?
It is well with your soul.
Yeah,
It is
It
well.
is well with
my
his soul.
soul
All right,
is-
there we go. It's well with all our souls.
See happy.
Tshepo and
Tshepo
Palesa.
and Palesa.
Tshepo and Palesa.
Okay, so the final couple is Tshepo and Palesa. I see why they matched them together. I don't think anyone else in this group would have been a good match for Palesa. Palesa looks like she likes the finer things in life. And even put Bongani wouldn't, I don't think that would have worked. In terms of personalities as well, she has a strong personality. She is strong. When it comes to Tshepo, he obviously would match better with Palesa because of these shared interests. I don't think that the two of them are a good pair in real life, because I think that but Tshepo's looking for a trophy. But Tshepo has a specific type. He didn't say it. He didn't describe it. So I am now filling in with my imagination and what I've seen out there. I think that he is looking for something very particular, but that person cannot be someone he can control. I don't think that would work. They do need to be able to hold their own. They do need to be intelligent. They do need to be... He said he wants someone ambitious. I don't think I believe him. I don't think I believe him. I think that he just doesn't want someone who's going to use him, which is fair. So we'll see how this goes, but I think that the two of them being such strong characters is going to be a weakness of this relationship. None of these people presented before us have given us much vulnerability. None of them have given us a sense of softness, and I think that you need that in the relationship, and maybe when they're together they're going to be able to do that together. But if they get into a fight, into some conflict, if none of them yield, it's going to be explosive. If no one is willing to say, you know what, it's okay, I hear you and I was wrong, or I misunderstood you, all these kinds of things, if it doesn't happen from both ends, we're gonna have explosions. I think that they both could potentially be quite explosive people. Maybe not verbally, because I don't think Tshepo is a verbally or physically explosive person. Mr. Cool, Calm and Collected plays his cards well, but it will be felt, possibly through withdrawal, but it will be felt. There will be results. Anyway, those are the couples. The couple who stands the most chance at making it, Nelisa and Themba are only gonna make it because Nelisa is gonna hold on for dear life, while Themba looks for reasons to run back to his ex. Nkululeko and Makoto are not going to work out. They don't share some of the most important values in terms of what they would like their marriage to look like. It's not going to be a long-lasting relationship, even if it's an enjoyable one. And the experts said that Nkululeko and Makoto could heal one another, and it could be a testimony. Why are we looking for people's healing in relationships as experts? Why are we? Isn't that your guys' job, to help her heal so that she's ready for a relationship? I'm not understanding what's going on there. Bongani and Portia, like I said, if Portia was walked through her trauma and healed from how critical the previous marriage was, then maybe she would not be so critical of others. I know I'm drawing from the very little that we get, so I'm drawing a lot of conclusions that may not be correct, but I don't see that working for them with how the previous marriage ended because of attraction. Tshepo and Palesa probably really are the best bet. I don't see it happening because Tshepo's not going to tell us, but I don't think Sis Palesa is going to be Tshepo's type, even though Sis Palesa is a beautiful woman and she's very well poised and she's a girly girl, which are, I'm sure, things that he'll enjoy about her. And she's intelligent, probably has a great sense of humor, so he will enjoy her. But I don't think he will get that trophy show-offy thing that I get about him. And Sis Palesa may not be ready to be soft, to be vulnerable. And I think that also may impact this relationship's success. That's what I think.